Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Mark Causey here from Black Cat Comics and Rockin Milpitas. Every Wednesday's new comic book day, but sometimes things get late and so Thursday becomes new comic book day. And I'd like to give you some great reasons to go to black-cat-comics.com and pick up something fun to read. This week is all-time great and monumental with lots of fun stuff that's fun to read. Gonna start with the greatest comic book of all time. This is Black Cat Chronicles #1, The Greyfriars Cemetery. It is in my hand, soon it will be in your hand. Yes, the issue is finally here. This is our homemade, super awesome comic. And those of you that supported our Kickstarter program and those of you that have already picked it up online, this will be shipping out to you ASAP. Those that haven't, you can pick it up in the New This Week section. Very, very excited about Black Cat Chronicles. Make sure you grab your first print copy before they're gone. Black Cat Chronicles #1, Greyfriars Cemetery. Super awesome to start a weekly video with our own brand new comic. Very, very excited about that. Pick up your copy this week. Get them before they're gone. Gonna move on to the Marvel guys. Some of my favorite books to talk about these days. This is your latest issue of Thor. Thor is probably one of the biggest books in comics, one of the best books Marvel has. If you, for some reason, have not gotten on the bandwagon, pick up the trade paperback for 1 through 6, catch up to this issue. I've been saying that a lot of Marvel titles are as good now as they've been in a long, long time. This Thor book is one of them. Iron Man #7 is another one of them. Been loving this title. Again, grab the first trade paperback, catch up to this week's issue. I always say anything is worth the $3.99 for those Alex Ross covers. But a lot of Marvel books are just sort of in this back to basics hero versus villain sort of concept that made Marvel great in the first place. This is the Tony Stark you know and love. Having Tony Stark style adventures. Like I say, really been enjoying this one. And Captain America, you know, Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America form the Marvel Trinity. Love this big anniversary tribute issue. Some of the top talent in comics redoing some of the classic Captain America stories we all know and love. Good times there. X-Force #18 is your X book of the week. Been encouraging everybody to find an X title, and X-Force might be the one for you. This one, the core title, X-Men of course, New Mutants. There's a lot of really popular ones. So jump in on X-Force and see what I'm always talking about. Sword is your King in Black book of the week, along with King in Black Spider-Man. Everybody loves anything Venom. Speaking of, Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade. Really stoked to see Dane Whitman in his own book. I'm a big Black Knight fan, like every Avengers fan is. Like I say, great to see him back in his own title. Great to see him incorporated back into the mainstream Marvel universe. Looking forward to seeing him pop up in the MCU. Captain Marvel. Another one of the biggest books Marvel has. Another book that sells out and goes to reprint every single issue. If you're not reading Captain Marvel, you're missing out on something really solid. Much like Spider-Woman. This one's been flying under everybody's radar. But again, good stories, good art. One of the classic characters of Marvel. Jump into Spider-Woman because that one's awesome. Champions. My man Iron Fist. And then Marvel from the brilliant talent of Alex Ross. That's the latest issue #6. Again, worth it just for the cover art. And last but not least, the Trials of Ultraman. If you're 100 years old like me, you love some Ultraman. This is the second series after Rise of Ultraman. Great stuff. If you're any kind of Godzilla fan, you're going to want to pick that up. Very small week for the DC guys, but huge books to talk about. This is Justice League #59. The first of the Infinite Frontier era. DC has got new jump-in points, new creative teams for all of their classic titles. They got a lot of first issues rolling out. It's a great time to jump into just about anything DC. Great time to keep going with all of your favorite DC titles. I'm a big Brian Michael Bendis fan. I know he's a little hot and cold with some people, but I think he's great on team books. Really excited to see his take on the world's greatest heroes. Like I say, that's your first issue of that. Nightwing number 78. You can read more about this one in our newsletter. This is your infinite frontier jumping point for Nightwing. One of my favorite Bat books, one of my favorite DC characters, and this issue is really, really solid. Not necessarily a bold new direction. It's a little bit of what I've been saying about Marvel. It's just kind of a back to basics. This is the character you know and love, doing his classic adventures. Love me some Nightwing. Catwoman, another one of the best Bat books, another one of my favorite DC characters, along with Superman. You know he's my very favorite DC character. Superman Red and Blue, sort of like Wolverine Black, White, and Red, like the upcoming Harley Quinn one, the upcoming Carnage one. Everything in here is just black, white, red, and blue, just like it says in the title. Like I say, I love anything Superman, and I love these sort of specials and using him as the icon that he is, doing cool art style stuff like that. Speaking of which, Truth and Justice number 2, another great Superman story. These are all self-contained one-shots. The first issue of the series was Vixen. This one's obviously Superman. Again, gave that a read. It's a really great story. Pick up number 1, pick up number 2, and keep going with this cool anthology of one-shots, because those are a lot of fun. And Batman vs. Ra's al Ghul is finally back on the table. This one's been on hiatus for a little bit as DC plowed through the pandemic era stuff, but now that one's finally wrapping up. Everybody loves some Batman Neil Adams. It's a good week for all the other guys too. Orphan and the Five Beasts is one of your Dark Horse books of the week, because I like to show you that they do a whole lot more than the licensed property stuff. Dark Horse has a comic from just about every genre across the spectrum. I'm always saying everybody should have a Dark Horse book on their list, like Resident Alien Omnibus Volume 1. Been waiting for this one ever since I started checking out the show. If you're watching the sci-fi show like I am, because you love Alan Tudyk like I do, you're going to want to pick this up. Super awesome. I don't often talk about trade paperbacks, but the show's great, the book's great, and another, like I say, something from Dark Horse Comics that isn't licensed property stuff, just something they do, and it's awesome. Radiant Black is your Image book of the week. That's just issue number 2. Issue 1 totally sold out and went to reprint. I'm always encouraging you guys to grab those first issues. If you read the first one, you dug it like I did. I love all that cool sci-fi that Image does. G.I. Joe is your IDW book of the week. It's a cool one-shot special for the modern G.I. Joe era. Vampirella Dark Powers is your Dynamite book of the week. Always pushing Vampirella, Red Sonja, Deja Thoris, Green Hornet, all the great things that Dynamite does. Bequest number 1 is your Aftershock book of the week. Talking up some Aftershock. Like to show their first issues. Always encouraging you guys to try a new publisher, a new book. First issue gives you an opportunity to check out what that publisher does. If you're looking for something outside the capes, Aftershock has a book for you. Storyteller back with a new number 1. Very excited about that. That's your Archaea book of the week. Always talking up anything Storyteller, anything from the brilliant mind of Jim Henson. Love those Storyteller comics. And Looney Tunes. It's your All Ages book of the week. Haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to talk up the All Ages books, but there you go. Doesn't get any more fun than Looney Tunes. If you've got a younger reader, or you're just looking for something a little less apocalyptic, the comic is just as awesome as the classic show. Not a huge week, but tons and tons of great books. So go to black-cat-comics.com, click on shop, click on new this week, take a look at all the books that I showed you, pick them up, and then we'll talk about them on Saturday on Comic Shop Talk Live. Don't forget to squeeze in your copy of Black Cat Chronicles number 1, Greyfriars Cemetery, because it's awesome. That's all we got for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.